วัสดีครับสวัสดีครับทุกๆคนครับวันนี้นะครับเรามาไลฟ์กันนะครับโดยเฉพาะสำหรับใครที่สนใจไปเรียนต่อแคนาดานะครับระดับปริญญาตรีนะครับซึ่งเรากำลังโฟกัสกันที่2เมืองใหญ่ของแคนาดาสำหรับใครที่สนใจไปเรียนปริญญาตรีก็คือที่แวนคูเวอร์กับที่โตรอนโตนะครับซึ่งเป็น2มหาวิทยาลัยนะครับที่มีชื่อเสียงนะครับเป็นมหาวิทยาลัยชั้นนำเลยก็ว่าได้นะครับนั่นก็คือในฝั่งแวนคูเวอร์เนี่ยเรากำลังพูดถึงการเรียนต่อที่ Simon Fraser University โดยที่เริ่มต้นจาก FIC นะครับก็คือ Fraser International College ก่อนนะครับเรียนปี1นะครับแล้วก็ไปต่อปี2ปี3ใน SFU โดยที่มีการการันตีการเข้าเรียนนะครับแต่เราจะต้องทำเกรดหรือว่าผลการเรียนช่วงที่เรียนอยู่ใน FIC เนี่ยให้ได้ตามเกณฑ์ที่ SFU กำหนดแล้วก็เปิดสอนหลากหลายเมเจอร์มากๆนะครับ SFU เป็นหนึ่งในมหาวิทยาลัยชั้นนำในBritish Columbia แล้วก็ในแคนาดานะครับใครที่อยากไปเรียนต่อป.ตรีก็เป็นตัวเลือกที่น่าสนใจมากๆนะครับอีกตัวเลือกหนึ่งก็คือTMU นะครับ Toronto Metropolitan University จริงๆก่อนหน้านี้เนี่ยมันเคยชื่อว่า Ryerson University นะครับ RU นะครับแล้วก็เปลี่ยนเป็น TMU ในโปรแกรมของ TMU เนี่ยก็จะมี International College เหมือนกันนะครับก็คือเราเรียนปี1นะครับที่ TMUIC แล้วก็ไปต่อที่ TMU หรือ Toronto Metropolitan University ได้นะครับก็จะเป็นการเรียน1ปีนะครับไปต่อปี2ปี3ปี4ในมหาวิทยาลัยนะครับในเมืองใหญ่อย่างโตรอนโตนะก็มีความแตกต่างกันนะใครอยากอยู่แวนคูเวอร์โตรอนโตแล้วเรียนป.ตรีแล้วก็มี2 option มาแนะนำนะครับซึ่งวันนี้นะครับเราอยู่กับคุณมาริซานะครับซึ่งเป็นเจ้าหน้าที่นะครับจาก Navitas นะครับ Navitas ก็จะเป็นกลุ่มองค์กรนะครับที่ดูแล FIC สำหรับใครที่อยากเข้าต่อ SFU นะครับกับTMUIC เพื่อสำหรับใครที่อยากเรียนต่อที่ TMU นะครับก็สามารถที่จะเข้ามาฟังกันได้นะครับแล้วก็ระหว่างที่เราไลฟ์กันอยู่นะครับใครที่ฟังดูแล้วมีคำถามหรือว่ามีข้อสงสัยอะไรก็สามารถที่จะพิมพ์มาในคอมเมนต์นะครับแล้วเดี๋ยวเราจะเอาขึ้นมาตอบให้นะครับแล้วก็เพื่อไม่เป็นการเสียเวลาเดี๋ยวอาจจะขออนุญาตให้มาริซาเขาแนะนำตัวนะครับ Alright, Marisa, thank you for joining us and I give a quick overview of what we will be talking about today. But before we get started, could you maybe help to introduce yourself quickly so the audience learn more about you?
Okay, sounds amazing. Sawadika, and thank you so much, Kungan, and also the amazing Kopangan team for hosting this live session. And more importantly, to each and every one of you from all parts of Thailand, all parts of the world that are tuning in to the live stream on Kopangan's Facebook channel as well as YouTube page. So thank you so much for carving out time on this Friday evening to join us. As Kungan has mentioned, my name is Melissa. I'm the Student Recruitment Manager for Navitas Canada and the US, but today we'll be focusing on Canada as Kungan has mentioned, and we're going to zone in on the amazing pathways that you can have from high school going into FIC to transfer into Simon Fraser University, or the other one that we're going to zone in today is TMU, Toronto Metropolitan University. So really looking forward to having this conversation with Kungan and also to taking questions from the audience later. Over to you, Kungan.
Thank you, Melissa. I think maybe we can get started with FIC to SFU first. Can you maybe talk about the benefit of considering going to SFU and maybe also studying at FIC to SFU? Can we talk about why SFU can be a good option or option that they may want to consider if they want to do a bachelor degree in Canada?
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good question, Kungan, and I think a great one to start off today's Q&A session as well. For me, like students coming in from Matayom 6, for example, in Thailand, or if you're coming in from an international school with A levels or the IB program, you could actually apply directly to Simon Fraser University, directly into year 1, if the grades are good enough. However, when we talk about a pathway like FIC, Fraser International College, it's fantastic because it gives you a fast track as well as a soft landing, especially if you're coming in from high school and you're an international student going into Canada for the first time. It can be quite scary. So FIC is there to make sure that at least for the 1 or 2 years there while you're at FIC, You're going to be on the same campus as SFU, but you have better support. Better support meaning smaller class sizes, about 20 students maximum in a class. You have more support from your academics. You have opportunities to go for workshops, leadership camps. If you're interested in photography, you get to volunteer, or if you're interested in environment or pets, it really builds you up as a person, and it provides you a solid foundation going into the next 4 years in university.
Nice. So it's actually a college located on the university, and the student will have the access to all the university service and facility, right?
That's exactly it, Gan.
Okay.
That's exactly it. The facilities are going to be the same as a year one student in university. So coming in straight from Matayom 6, for example, you will enjoy the same gymnasium, the same canteen, cafeteria. You'll also enjoy the same accommodation. So it's very much being an SFU student from day one, but with all the extra benefits.
Okay. And for FIC to SFU, what are the programs that can be interesting, or what are some of the strong programs that SFU has to offer for FIC students?
Oh, that's a tough one, Kungan, because we have a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of majors, but I would say the popular ones that I'm seeing from Thailand as well as the Southeast Asia region, the all-time favorite is business. Business is a very popular one, but then again, you can take business plus IT, you can take business plus arts, you can major in business, but you can minor in a different area. So in general, for FIC and SFU, business, computer science, what else? Arts. Students come and join us for psychology as well. And interestingly now, with the climate crisis that's going on around the world, we actually have students coming in for the environment program. So if you are passionate about Mother Earth, going green, don't be afraid to take the road less traveled and do something different. We have that amazing specialization for you at Simon Fraser University.
Yeah, thank you. I think SFU has been ranked as top 1 or maybe top few university for comprehensive ranking, right? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I love to humble bragging. I love talking about it. We are number 1. We are number 1 in Canada, as Kungan has mentioned, in the comprehensive university category. In Canada, we call it comprehensive because in SFU, we actually have lots of different majors, from arts to science to health science, and that's why we are ranked in the comprehensive university category. And within that category, it's ranked number 1 in the whole of Canada, based on the Maclean's rankings. So you've heard of the Times Higher Education ranking, the Shanghai Jiaotong QS rankings. Maclean's rankings is a very popular guide that we use in Canada for Canadian universities, and SFU is ranked number 1 in that space.
Nice. We have seen graduates of FIC who went to SFU who done very well in Canada and in many places. Some of them I know, and they seem to be doing very well. So I think it can be a good option for students who want to be on the West Coast, going to SFU for comprehensive university. I believe another point of SFU is that you have a lot of cooperative for students. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, Kungan. It's one of the largest in Canada, and as you mentioned, you have seen students coming through Copenhagen, going on to FIC and SFU, and looking at the graduates. And these are international students from Thailand that we're talking about, and it's so nice to see these alumni doing really well in Canada, in all parts of Canada. So it's definitely a great testament to what how FIC can actually help propel our students forward and setting them up for success. Yeah,
co-op can be a very important part, and I think it's very unique in Canada that when students go to study, not just what they learn in classroom, co-op will provide them with opportunity to really practice what they learn in a real industry setting, right? So I think that can be very beneficial for students the learners.
Yeah, 100% Kungan. I reckon there is a lot of benefit in terms of gaining that practical element. To be able to take the theory in the classroom into the real world is so important. And having that opportunity to do co-op as part of your bachelor's degree, as part of your undergraduate degree, I think it's amazing. A lot of our students are able to secure a job offer in the final year before they graduate, and it's really because of the co-op opportunity that they have done as part of your 4-year bachelor's degree in Canada.
Yeah, okay. I think another part that maybe we'll touch on FIC before we move to Toronto.
Sure.
We will talk a bit about their transfer pathway because starting at FIC, they need to transfer to SFU, which is actually located on the same campus.
Yep.
What are the conditions for them to get into SFU programs when they start on FIC?
That's a fantastic one. I'm really glad we're drilling down into the details, and that's like popular questions that I get from parents all the time. They go like, oh, is it true that my son or daughter is guaranteed a place in SFU in second year? Indeed, it is true. Obviously, there are conditions. The only condition that you need to meet if you're watching this today is to make sure you meet the minimum GPA requirements. And different majors will have different GPA requirements. So as an example, the business program, the BD Business School in SFU is a renowned business school, very popular. It requires a GPA of 2.75 out of 4.33. So as long as you're getting that minimum 2.75, SFU is not going to say, sorry, we're full, we don't have a place for you. You are guaranteed a place for that major in second year after you complete your stage 1 and stage 2 at FIC. Stage 1 is your foundation and stage 2 is your first year at FIC. So it's equivalent to the first year in university. And there is also a package offer, Kungan, I might just add that on. In your letter of offer that you receive from FIC, there will be one offer to state your FIC offer, and at the bottom it will state the SFU offer from Simon Fraser University. So it's a packaged offer, and when the Copenhagen team assists you on your application and your visa to Canada, it's a little bit more straightforward because the visa officer is going to assess it based on the two offers that you have. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Can you just give a bit more of an idea? For example, let's talk about business, computer science, and maybe communication and art. What are the GPA requirements to get into SFU major?
Yeah. So we did talk about business earlier. If you're going into arts, liberal arts or arts into psychology, it's generally speaking about a 2.5 GPA. So it's really, really achievable, like 2.5. I mean, it sounds challenging, but trust me, if you attend all your classes and, work on your assignments, 2.5, you will get there. And then if you're into like IT, you need 2.75 as well. But it is guaranteed. Everything will be in black and white in your letter of offer that you receive from FIC.
All right. Okay. I think before we go into other details, let's also talk about another location which can be very attractive, right, for people who want to go to bigger cities like Toronto. For TMU, which used to be RU Ryerson University. What are some of their programs? Let's talk about the highlight first. Why students who want to go to who want to do a bachelor degree in Canada may want to consider TMU.
Yeah, no. So we're really switching gears a little bit, going in from Vancouver in British Columbia and virtually going in to another province, Ontario, and that's where the city of Toronto is at. Toronto is also a fantastic location in Canada to consider. And I think as an international student, if you are that type of person who loves the activity in a big city, you love being in the heart of all that action, being in downtown, surrounded by all the top companies in the world. And also, if you are a type of student where you enjoy learning by doing. And what I mean by this is experiential learning, more hands-on, more practical. I really think you will excel in TMU, Toronto Metropolitan University. And also, if you look at the logo on the screen, TMU, you might notice the color scheme because as Kun Gan mentioned earlier, it used to be called Ryerson University. So in April 2022, this year, Ryerson University rebranded itself to TMU. And there's a whole story about it you can find out on the Facebook page that we have in TMU's webpage. But in short, Ryerson decided to rename itself to TMU to better reflect the DNA of the university, being in Toronto and also in downtown, very metropolitan. So TMU it is, Toronto Metropolitan University. Yep.
Nice. Okay. Let's talk about the programs that students can start from TMUIC to proceed on TMU for their bachelor degree. Then, what are the programs that TMUIC has to offer?
Yeah, no, that's a great one. So you know what SFU is really good at, and in Vancouver, zoning into Toronto Metropolitan, we have fewer courses, but we're really good in what we do. So the popular ones would be business, not just marketing, accounting. We also have international business and economics. So if you're interested in that sort of specialization, we've got it. We also have arts into psychology, all the way up to your PhD. So we have the whole stream for psychology. Last but not least is the new one, creative industries. And this includes fashion design, professional writing. And I think the really cool thing is I haven't seen a university, I've seen universities with fashion design, but I think what's unique about TMU's fashion design program is that you can do fashion design and you can do the business part as well. So if you want to run your own Fashion Week in Milan or London or Paris, it's always nice to have the business element to it. At least you have the business nuance to complement your creative knowledge to it. So it's a really nice combination of both, I feel.
Nice. So I think students will be surrounded in business in Toronto, and these are the fields that certainly I think they can apply what they learn with business in Toronto too. Okay. So for TMU, if they want to get into these programs, are they also guaranteed when they start from TMUIC?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is the really cool thing about the Navitas pathways, whether you're going to FIC or TMUIC, Toronto Metropolitan University International College, quite a long word there. It's that we have that guaranteed assurance. The only condition you need to worry or work on is the GPA. As a student, just work towards that minimum GPA that you need to achieve, usually a credit average and above. Then you will be guaranteed that transition into university. I would say that although that's the minimum, I would sort of like put it out there for you to achieve higher, because we do have academic merit scholarships that our students would be eligible for, both at TMUIC as well as TMU. I might just jump in and just mention it here as a start. We have the entrance scholarship. So you can actually have a chat with Kungan and his team for more information. But in general, we have entrance scholarships for you worth about 2,000 Canadian dollars. And we'll talk about this a little bit more. But yeah, just throwing it in there. So we do have those entrance scholarships available for you.
For both FIC and TMUIC, correct? For the entrance scholarship?
Yes, for both of it. It is first come, first serve though, which is why although you're not planning to go, for example, until fall, we call it the fall intake, so that's September in 2023, I will encourage you to use your forecast results or midterm results to put in an application with Cop and Gun. It's free of charge to apply because the scholarships are first come, first serve. So the earlier we have your application, you have your letter of offer, we can start your scholarship process going. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Just a quick question. Actually, I visited TMU when it was still IU, I think.
Yeah.
But they just recently changed, just to help the audience to see and understand it better for TMU, TMUIC. TMU actually in the Toronto downtown, and TMUIC is also in the same area, right? It's kind of walkable distance, and students will also have access to TMU facility, gyms, and other services, just like FIC and SFU, correct?
Yes, that's exactly it. And I'm really glad you had a chance to visit our campus on your last trip to Canada, Kungan. It's nothing like seeing it for yourself. Also putting this opportunity out there to all of you that are watching today. If you're interested to come and see the campus, have a tour, see it for yourself as Kungan has, please reach out to the KPG team. We can definitely organize that for you. We are smack in downtown, as Kungan has mentioned. Very, very convenient. You're surrounded by a lot of shops, restaurants, but more importantly, a lot of like top businesses as well. So it feels like you're in a very business-centric hub. But I think one of the main things of joining TMU is the opportunity to go into DMZ, the Digital Media Zone. Digital Media Zone is a business incubator. It's on site on campus, and TMU is the only university which actually has a business incubator that's located on campus. So it's really, really cool because if you're into entrepreneurship, you want to be the next Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, someone very visionary. It's really good to test out your ideas at a university level, speak to mentors, work with business mentors, pitch your ideas, get funding. And there are so many students that have managed to launch their idea, conceptualize it, and commercialize it whilst you're still studying in university. So how cool is that? So really, really amazing opportunity there.
Nice. Yeah, that center is very nice place to.
Yeah, it's cool, right? Good
and hang out with friends, particularly if you study, something related to business or you want to become entrepreneur. It seems very nice. Okay. I think the next part of it, maybe we'll talk about the Navitas support, or maybe the international college support, right? You already mentioned about it a little bit that when students start at international college for the first year, then they proceed to the second year. During their study in the international college, both at FIC and TMUIC, they have access to campus facilities just like other students. But they will have it will be a soft landing for them. Can you emphasize a bit more about what the international college do to help students to get adjusted and do well when they do a degree program at the university?
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good and also important question, and I get it like all the time from parents. They go like, how will you ensure that my son or daughter will be able to succeed, into university? Because Canada is actually quite far away from Southeast Asia, and generally parents have concerns about safety. Will my son or daughter be well taken care of? And it's new culture and everything. And this is what we specialize in Navitas Canada Pathways at FIC as well as TMUIC. We've been around since more than 30 years ago. So we're definitely in that pathway business. We call it Pathway, Foundation and International First Year for a long, long time now. So we make sure that our students have the right support. And support can take many shapes and form. It would mean that your son or daughter will actually have like more time with our academics, but also if they need help anytime at all, we have our student advisors. These are peers. It could be like senior students from SFU or who have gone through the FIC pathway to be there to work with your student. Also, we also have opportunities for international students to meet up, gather together. It could be a nice barbecue in a park or a picnic. These sort of activities to help that student build up network, build friends, maybe that share similar interests, and you even get to start your own club. If you're interested in a particular area that we don't actually have, whether it's photography, environment, or if you're interested in golf, for example, or basketball, there are lots of different areas which you can actually join in. And I think it's really important to take up a hobby, something extra aside from studies, to have that approach. And students ultimately only spend 30% of their time in the classroom. The balance of 70% is, immersing yourself in a new culture in Canada. And a place like Toronto, you have students and nationalities, people from all around the world. So it's very, very diverse. It's a melting pot of culture, a little bit like Thailand as well, where it's so international these days. But in Toronto, as you would have seen, Kun Gan, when you went there, you just look at the restaurants, like so many different types of food that you get. So I think having that right support, especially in the first year when you go there after high school, being 17, 18 years old, it's really important to have that network. The good thing is being at FIC or TMUIC, your classmates will be other international students as well. So they will be on the same adventure with you. Probably going to Canada for the first time, they might not have family or friends there. So that's fantastic because you guys are on that life journey together, and those friends that you make in that 1 or 2 years in FIC and TMUIC will join you in the next 4 years in university life. And I'm pretty sure they will be your lifelong friends as well. Even when you go for your co-op, graduate, get a job, they will be there with you all the way. So I think having that right foundation or the soft landing, as we mentioned earlier, Kun Gan, is so important to ensure your success in the next 3-4 years in university life.
As former international students, I can relate to a lot of what you mentioned, particularly with studying in North America. It's not just going to classroom. A lot of it has to be, a lot of it happened outside of classroom. Activity you do, people you get connected with, and you do activity, or you learn and you work with them. So that is a big part of the learning. And having an international college who are dedicated to serve international students, they understand students, they can help students to kind of understand how they will need to navigate through the system. So I think it's a very good step to start when they are going abroad to study. So I think I can see a benefit of going to international college and taking the first year, right? And then you can be sure that you will start second year. You are ready to start a second year when you're, even though you are international student.
Yeah, 100% Kun Gan. I mean, in some markets, I get students who contemplate should I go through a pathway? Should I go to the university directly? I think there are benefits in going through the pathway. Your end game is still the same, obviously, to the university to obtain your bachelor's degree, do your co-op. But having the right foundation will help ensure your success in the next couple of years. And it's there are two roads. You can choose which road you want to take. But going through the pathway road, you have experience of two different institutions. Well, it's on the same campus, but one through FIC and another one through SFU or TMUIC and then TMU. So you kind of get to experience both bits, more support in the first 2 years. And then when you get into the SFU and TMU, that's where you feel okay, I'm all grown up now. You get to join bigger classes, bigger lecture halls. So you'll get to experience both of it as an international student.
Yeah, okay. So we are live today with FIC to SFU. I just want to remind the audience who maybe just watch it now. I will summarize things in Thai language actually before we proceed.
Okay.
ก็จริงวันนี้เราคุยอยู่กับคุณมาริสานะครับซึ่งดูแลNavitas ซึ่ง Navitas เนี่ยก็จะมีหลายๆ college อยู่ในUniversity ในแคนาดาสำหรับใครที่อยากเรียนต่อปอตรีเนาะอันนึงก็คือตัว FIC นะครับ Fraser International College ที่เรียนปี 1แล้วก็ไปต่อปี 2 ปี 3 ปี 4 ใน SFU นะครับเป็นมหาวิทยาลัยที่ติด ranking ลำดับต้นๆด้าน Comprehensive University แล้วก็มีหลักสูตรการเรียนเปิดสอนค่อนข้างหลากหลายนะครับคือ SFU นะครับแล้วก็อีกที่หนึ่งนะครับแล้วก็ SFU นะครับเป็นมหาวิทยาลัยที่มี co-op นะครับให้ทำในหลักสูตรดังนั้นนักเรียนไปเรียนเนี่ยก็จะมีโอกาสได้ไปทำงานในสิ่งที่ตัวเองเรียนมาจริงๆในตลอดหลักสูตรช่วงป.ตรีด้วยนะแล้วก็เริ่มต้นที่ FIC นะครับก็เป็นจุดเริ่มต้นสำหรับการเตรียมตัวให้มีความพร้อมเราเรียนปี 1ที่ SFU ที่ FIC แต่สามารถเข้าถึงเซอร์วิสต่างๆใน SFU ได้เหมือนนักเรียนของ SFU นะก็ได้วุฒิป.ตรีเหมือนคนที่เรียน SFU 4 ปีโดยตรงแต่ว่าปีแรกเนี่ย เรามี internationalทีม support เราให้เราช่วยปรับตัวให้เรามีความพร้อมที่จะเข้าไปเรียนแล้วก็ใช้ชีวิตในมหาวิทยาลัยอันที่2ที่เราคุยกันนะครับอีกอันหนึ่งนะครับก็คือTMUIC นะเริ่มเรียนปี1นะครับที่ Toronto Metropolitan University International College จริงๆสีฟ้าสีเหลืองเนี่ยมันเป็นสีเก่าของสีของมหาวิทยาลัยที่ใช้ชื่อเก่าคือ Fraser University หรือ RU นะครับก็จะอยู่ในตัวเมืองโตรอนโตเลยนะครับใครที่อยากเรียน business finance economic อะไรเงี้ยครับหรือแม้กระทั่ง creative industry เกี่ยวข้องกับ art เนี่ยหรือแม้กระทั่งโปรแกรมด้าน psychology ก็เป็นมหาวิทยาลัยที่น่าสนใจนะครับซึ่งเรียนปี1ที่ TMUIC นะครับแล้วก็ต่อปี2ปี3ที่ TMU ได้เหมือนกันทั้ง SFC FIC แล้วก็ TMUIC เนี่ยมีการันตี transfer เข้าอยู่นะครับแต่เราต้องเรียนใน International College เนี่ยแล้วก็ทำ GPA ให้ถึงเกณฑ์โดยที่แต่ละโปรแกรมก็อาจจะอยู่ประมาณ 2.5 2.75 เพื่อที่จะเข้าเรียนต่อปี2ได้นะครับก็เป็นจุดเริ่มต้นที่ดีนะครับสำหรับใครที่จะไปเริ่มต้นการใช้ชีวิตในมหาวิทยาลัยพอเริ่มต้นใน college ก่อนเนี่ยก็จะมีทีมดูแลเราโดยเฉพาะแล้วก็จะช่วยให้เราปรับตัวได้แล้วก็ไปใช้ชีวิตในมหาวิทยาลัยได้เต็มที่มากขึ้นนะครับวันนี้เราก็จะไลฟ์เรื่องนี้กันถ้าเกิดใครเข้ามานะครับเราสนใจเรื่องเรียนต่อปตรีแล้วมีคำถามอะไรนะครับก็สามารถที่จะถามมาในแชทบ็อกซ์ได้นะครับ Hello Perry Burry someone say hello I'll just say hello
Hi Perry
ถ้าเกิดว่าใครเข้ามาแล้วมีคำถามอะไรก็ถามมาได้นะครับ Okay I think the next part of it maybe we touch a bit more on the average fee for let's say like TMU is on the screen now. Let's just talk about TMUIC first and TMU. How much is the average fee per year for students who want to go to TMUIC to TMU?
Yeah, no, that's a great one. Being in a big city like Toronto, it's gonna be a little bit more expensive, obviously. Any big city, New York, London, Sydney, it's going to be a bit more expensive than a smaller city, just like how Bangkok is probably more expensive than Chiang Mai or Chiang Rai, perhaps. For investment, for UTP, that's what we call a University Transfer Program. So we have stage 1 and stage 2. I would budget approximately 30,000 Canadian dollars for 1 year. And if you compare it with the fees at TMU, it is about the same. It is about the same because the syllabus and everything, it's all from the university as well. And we are on the same campus, just a different building. So I would budget approximately 30,000 Canadian dollars for your tuition fee. And I guess the next question that's probably going to come from you, Kungan, and the audience is like, what about cost of living? What about my accommodation, apartment, or meals? I would budget approximately 15 to about maybe 18,000 Canadian dollars, and that's all inclusive for your accommodation as well as your meals. Yep.
Mm-hmm. But that is the tuition and fees and the accommodation, right? But for those who just watching this right now, there is an entrance scholarship for students who's studying at an international college. We already mentioned that there is an entrance scholarship for students who are studying at international college. How about when they transfer to the university? Are there a chance for them to apply for additional scholarships?
Oh yes, absolutely. As a start, you will be able to obtain that $2,000 entrance scholarship. But which is why it is important to maintain your grades and do well. Although don't just strive to maintain that minimum GPA which you need to transfer, but if you get something higher, there's also the Dean Scholarship, the Academic Merit Scholarship. There are lots of different categories like Community Leadership Scholarship that you would be eligible for. So the higher your grades are, the better they are. You have more options to unlock those scholarships. So there are lots of different scholarships. So reach for the stars, aim high, and there will be other scholarships coming in, not just from TMUIC, but from TMU as well.
Okay, sounds good. So just don't try to get the minimum score so that they can transfer.
Yeah.
So there are more opportunities, including scholarships, right?
Absolutely, Kungan. I mean, it's easy just to attain, to aim for that minimum, but always try and do a bit more, right? It's always, and don't just do a bit more for the sake of doing it. There will be rewards and, incentives that you can actually look forward to. So hopefully that's a little bit of motivation for you to aim higher. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about West Coast. How about FIC to SFU? What is the average fee per year from FIC and also to SFU?
Okay, good stuff. So the campus in SFU is located in a place called Burnaby. And Burnaby is it's up on a mountain, so like on a hilltop. It's about 20 minutes from downtown. So in terms of the tuition fee that we're looking at for Vancouver is one of the most livable cities in the world. It's consistently ranked top 5 in the world, most livable city. So, it's a great city to live. Great infrastructure, great quality of life, clean air, clean water, nice landscapes. So for tuition fees, we'll start off with that first. It's also about the same as Toronto, about 30,000 Canadian dollars. And for your cost of living, it's going to be about there as well, 15 to 18,000 within that range. Probably excluding your shopping, depending on your lifestyle as well. But generally, 15 to 18,000 is comfortable for most international students living on campus. Yep.
Nice. Okay. Yep. And just to emphasize, there are also entrance scholarship, but for FIC to SFU, are there also scholarship too?
Yes, absolutely. So entrance scholarship, yes, it's a given, $2,000. We have 3 semesters in a year. So January, May and September every year, free of charge to apply. So always a good time to put it in. And I noticed in Southeast Asia, students apply a little bit last minute, but if you do it a bit early, it's good. So Kungan and his team won't be so stressed out worrying about your visa, because it takes a bit longer sometimes to get your visa processed to make sure you get to fly to Canada on time. 3 intakes in a year. We have $2,000 entrance scholarship for every intake. First come, first serve though. So another reason for you to apply early, because the earlier you apply, the higher the chance you might get it. If it runs out when you apply late, then you kind of miss out on it. And when you transition from FIC to SFU, there will be other academic merit scholarships as well, based on your grades, but also based on the things that different categories, like the community leadership scholarship, the STEM scholarship if you're majoring in science, technology, engineering, math. So different categories for you to apply for as well.
Okay. Thank you. I will just mention this thing in Thai language quickly.
Okay. Thank you.
Before we proceed to the last part of the live session ก็สำหรับใครที่เพิ่งเข้ามานะครับเราพูดถึงกันในเซสชันนี้ช่วงนี้เราพูดถึงกันเรื่องของค่าใช้จ่ายนะสำหรับ TMUIC กับ TMU นะครับก็คือเรียนปี1ที่ TMUIC แล้วก็ต่อปี2ปี3ที่ TMU ในฝั่งโตรอนโตเนาะซึ่งค่าเล่าเรียนมันก็อยู่ในเกณฑ์อยู่ปีประมาณ 30,000 ถึง 33,000 เหรียญต้นๆนะครับแล้วก็ได้ International Student Support ที่ช่วยดูแลเราในการปรับตัวแล้วก็ให้มีความพร้อมในการเรียนต่อมหาลัยช่วงปี2ปี3ปี4เนาะแล้วก็มี Entrance Scholarship ให้ในการเริ่มต้นที่ International College นะครับพอเราไปต่อมหาวิทยาลัยช่วงปี2ปี3ปี4ถ้าเกรดเราสูงเนี่ยเราเข้าเมเจอร์ที่เราอยากเรียนได้แล้วเราก็มีโอกาสที่จะได้ Scholarship หรือทุนต่างๆระหว่างที่เรียนอยู่ในมหาวิทยาลัยได้ด้วยนะครับแล้วก็ค่าครองชีพฝั่งโตรอนโตต่อปีก็อาจจะเผื่อไว้ปีละประมาณ 15,000 เหรียญนะครับแล้วก็ฝั่ง FIC to SFU นะครับค่าเรียนก็ใกล้เคียงกันก็คือปีละประมาณ 30,000 ถึง 33,000 เหรียญต้นๆเนาะแล้วก็ค่าของชีพก็อาจจะปีละประมาณ 15,000 เหรียญใกล้เคียงกันนะครับแล้วก็มี scholarship ที่เป็น entrance scholarship ให้อัตโนมัตินะครับสำหรับใครที่เริ่มต้น International College ก่อนแล้วก็พอ transfer เข้ามหาวิทยาลัยถ้า GPA สูงแล้วเข้า major ที่เราอยากเข้าได้ก็มีทุนให้สำหรับการที่เราจะเข้าไปเรียนเมเจอร์ต่างๆด้วยนะครับแล้วเราก็จะดูที่ GPA ของเรานะครับ Okay I think I emphasized this point already about the course and scholarships. Let's talk about the other important part, which is the admission. We already talked about apply early. You have time to process things, to get the visa, find your accommodation and things like that. But what do students need to have to apply to FIC and TMUIC?
Yeah. No, thanks so much for emphasizing that and reinforcing that message for me, Kundagan. Much appreciated. So the other important things that you need to note to put in your application, actually, it's really simple. To summarize it, it's just 2 documents. First of which is a copy of your passport. Share it with Kundagan's team. A copy of your passport. The second thing is your latest high school results. It could be your midterms. It could be your forecast trial results. If you have your final results, that's well and good. But to ensure that you apply early, we are happy to look at your midterms, your forecast results to potentially offer you, if eligible, a conditional letter of offer. And once you submit your final results after your final exams to Kungan and as a team, we will update that conditional letter of offer to an unconditional one once you've cleared all the conditions like English language requirements, or if we need to see your final results. But just 2 things, just your passport and your high school grades.
Yeah, but I mean that is the minimum. But if students who have English proficiency test score, will that be helpful in a way?
Absolutely, Kungan. If you have an English proficiency score, then it's great, because that means you have 1 less exam for you to sit for. So we're talking about stuff like IELTS or TOEFL, Duolingo, that sort of thing. If you already have those English proficiency results, that's great. That means you have 1 less English test to sit for. However, if you haven't done your IELTS or any other English proficiency test or exam, there is an option for you. Navitas offers an online English test called the Navitas TVT test. It's a 1-hour online English test. So you'll be just like this, sitting in front of your laptop, your computer, with a good pair of headphones, good internet access. You can actually pop into the Kopangan office to take this test as well. Online, it'll take you 1 hour. Once you finish the test, it'll get sent to my admissions team in FIC and TMUIC, and we will use that to assess your English language proficiency. So I hope that's good news for you. It's 1 less exam for you to sit for, and it saves you a little bit of investment having to pay for the extra English test as well.
So it's not required to have the English proficiency test score, but if they do, they will know how that program of study will be like. Do they need to have extra English class, preparation class, or will they be just focusing on academic classes, right? But if they do not have it, it's fine. They can sit in a test to know their level too. That is correct, right?
Yeah, 100% Gungan. If you have it already, I think that's a bonus. Then you can just share that with Kungan, and that way it would just be 3 things. So I lie. I mentioned 2 things. It should be 3 things as well, which is the English proficiency. But if you don't have it,
it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
Okay. And okay, so that is kind of the admission part to FIC to TMUIC, and there's no application fee. So it's quite a good deal if they are interested in going to study for a bachelor degree in Vancouver or Toronto with one of the 2 of the famous university in this big 2 main city in Canada. I think it's a good starting step for them to consider.
Absolutely, Kungan. Yeah, 100%. I can't agree more with you on that 2 points. I 100% agree that they're 2 amazing cities. If you're thinking about Canada, you can't really go wrong with Toronto and Vancouver. They're amazing, like top cities in the world, and don't just take my word for it. The Economist, for example, ranks Vancouver as one of the top 3 most livable cities in the world, as well as Toronto. Good for job opportunities, especially if you like being in a big city. I find that when I talk to students from Thailand, they enjoy the vibes of a big city. Then I think these 2 cities would be great for you. And it's really important not just to think about the university, but the location as well. And as Kungan mentioned, Vancouver and also Toronto, big cities, big companies there. So again, if you look about employment opportunities, co-op opportunities, you can't really go wrong in a big city like that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Melissa. I just want to ask if you have any other thing you want to mention to Thai students or their parents who are listening and trying to considering to go to study for a bachelor degree in Canada?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Since you're tuning in live to this session with Kopangan today, I'm pretty sure you're already in touch with Kungan and his team. If not, it's a good time to reach out to Kungan and his team because between now, if you've watched this session, I'm happy to help prioritize your application to get it in a fast track to get your letter of offer early. So put in your application through Kopangan. We'll make sure that it gets prioritized and it gets issued to you as soon as we can, just so we have more time. Kopangan and myself and you will have more time to work on your visa application, accommodation, etc. You have a bit more of a runway. So the fact that you're tuning in, I hope that you're maybe thinking about Canada, maybe thinking about Toronto, FIC and TMUIC. So don't hesitate. You have nothing to lose. Put in your application, and we can see how we go from there. Good luck, and hope to see you in Canada at some point. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Marisa, for your time. แล้วก็ขอบคุณทุกคนที่ฟังมาวันนี้นะครับถ้าใครฟังแล้วมีความสนใจอยากได้รายละเอียดเพิ่มเติมนะก็ติดต่อมาทาง Line Official Account ทางด้านล่างได้นะครับ@KORPUNGUN นะครับก็ติดต่อมาได้นะครับเดี๋ยวทางเราจะช่วยแนะนำและให้ข้อมูลให้ได้นะครับ Alright, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kungan, and thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in today. Have a good weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye, Marisa. Thank you.
Thanks, Kungan.